If you're having trouble losing weight, if you're struggling with fatigue, joint pain, aging skin, and brain fog, then chances are you have problems with your blood sugar and insulin levels. And when you have these issues, you end up with excess visceral fat that surrounds your organs, choking off blood supply to them and releasing inflammatory compounds that cause damage to all the tissues of the body. If you're dealing with that, you need to do everything you can to balance your blood sugar, stabilize your insulin levels, and burn fat for fuel. And that's what I'm gonna go through. In this video, I'm gonna show you 7 simple tricks that balance your blood sugar and burn this dangerous visceral fat. These tricks are easy to apply and they get results quickly. That means you feel like you've got more energy, you've got better mental clarity, you're burning fat, you feel better, right? And your libido improves, your strength, your energy, your enthusiasm for life is gonna go up as you start to apply these principles. So number 1 is prioritize protein. Protein is the most important macronutrient to make sure you have enough of. And I always recommend 30 to 50 grams of protein in every meal. And research has actually shown that when you eat protein first in a meal, before you have sugar or starch, it actually lowers the glycemic impact and the insulogenic effect, the amount of insulin that's released from the rest of the food when you eat protein first. So if you have steak and a potato, for example, if you were to eat the potato first, your blood sugar and your insulin would go up much higher than if you ate the potato second, after the steak. So eat the steak first, then the potato, right? Of course, you can avoid the potato altogether, especially if you really need to burn a lot of visceral fat. If you've got a lot of excess fat to burn, if you have insulin resistance, avoid the starch. Reduce the amount of starch and sugar that you're consuming. Focus on the protein, the steak, right? Focus on the healthy protein. Your proteins are gonna be coming from grass-fed animal products, from pasture-raised eggs, organic dairy, wild-caught seafood. Why do I say grass-fed? Grass-fed animal products are higher in healthy fats like conjugated linoleic acid, which turns on your metabolism. They're higher in fat-soluble antioxidants. They're higher in things like carnitine and carnosine that are so good for protecting your muscle tissue and stimulating fat burning. So really, really important that we're getting grass-fed. Organic dairy, right, is also a great protein source. So organic Greek yogurt, organic cottage cheese, organic cheese, all can really help with a blood sugar stabilizing diet that helps you burn fat. But make sure you get it organic, otherwise you're gonna get a whole lot of antibiotics, hormones, pesticides, and herbicides with it. All those chemicals destroy, they damage our mitochondria, shut down our body's ability to burn fat for fuel. We burn fat in our mitochondria. You can eat the protein, but if you have too many chemicals in your body from the food you're consuming, that will shut down mitochondrial function. You're not gonna be able to burn fat. So you'll think, hey, my diet is good. I'm eating a high protein diet. I'm following a ketogenic diet, but you're still not burning fat because you have too high a toxic load. So do your best to get organic, grass-fed, that's key. Add in healthy fats. You want to avoid seed oils. All your corn oil, soybean, safflower, cottonseed oil, peanut oil, all that stuff just poisons your cell membranes, poisons your mitochondria, and stops your ability to burn fat. What are the healthy fats? It's gonna come from things like grass-fed animal products. We need saturated fats. Believe it or not, saturated fats, one of the best things for healthy cell membranes. So we wanna get that from our grass-fed organic animal products. Also things like extra virgin olive oil, great source of healthy fats. Also, we're gonna get healthy fats in things like avocados, coconut oil, all really good, but avoid the seed oils. So that's number 2. Number 3, avoid consuming naked carbs. Now, what's a naked carb? It's like when we eat an apple all by itself. Now, I don't have anything really against apples. In fact, I think apples have great benefits. In particular, they have a form of structured water in them that deeply hydrates our cells and actually improves cellular communication. So apples can be really helpful. There's also, a healthy fiber in there. There's different nutrients like quercetin that's in the skin of the apple. So apples can have a lot of benefits, but if we eat them without anything else, it's gonna cause our blood sugar to just go all over the place. So it's key that we eat our carbs after we consume our protein and healthy fats. So have fruit be like a dessert after your meal, after you've already filled up on protein and healthy fats. Then have your apple, your strawberries, your blueberries, your pomegranate, whatever it is that you're getting, the colorful fruit that we enjoy, right? Has a great flavor to it. And it also has nutrients, but have that at the end. Avoid naked carbs, right? So again, if you're having a sweet potato or you're having carrots all by itself, that's a naked carb. So we want to do that. We want to make sure we're consuming that after we consume the protein and the healthy fats. That way, we're able to stabilize our blood sugar. We get a lower glycemic response, lower insulin response. So always make sure protein and fiber-rich foods are consumed before eating carbs. Does that make sense? I've kind of explained that in detail. Hopefully that's setting in. If you've got a meal and you've got a salad, you've got a steak, you've got a sweet potato, okay? Healthy meal. Eat the salad or the steak first, right? In fact, I'd recommend eating the steak first because your stomach acid will concentrate near the bottom of your stomach. So whatever gets eaten first, gets into the stomach first, it's gonna get the most stomach acid response, right? And it's gonna have the most time sitting in the stomach acid. We need that stomach acid to break down the hard proteins, right? The proteins that are in the steak. So that's why that would be the best thing to consume first, then consume the salad, then consume the starch, right? And in that order, when you consume it in that order, you're gonna have a better blood sugar and insulin response, and you're gonna be able to burn fat more effectively for fuel and better digestion of your meal as well. You also wanna add in 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar with meals. You simply take 1 tablespoon, you put it in water, you consume that before the meal, about 2 to 4 ounces of water. You do wanna dilute the apple cider vinegar a little bit, otherwise it will burn your throat. So you gotta dilute it a little bit. Apple cider vinegar has been shown to enhance mitochondrial function because it has something called acetic acid, which is a short chain fatty acid that's produced from the fermentation of the apple. And so that short chain fatty acid goes in and it's fuel to the mitochondria, creates stronger, healthier mitochondria, and that means you're able to burn fat more effectively for fuel, which lowers your blood sugar, lowers your insulin response, and it improves the inflammatory levels in your body, so it reduces inflammation as well. So it's simple, just take 1 tablespoon apple cider vinegar and about 2 to 4 ounces of water. So it's diluted, drink that right before your meal, and that's gonna help you. You can also use apple cider vinegar. You can put it on your steaks, your meat, your vegetables, and it will actually help to break those things down and kind of pre-digest those foods, and that can be beneficial as well. Now, another key principle, key step, it's simple, take a walk after meals. Just go for a walk, go for a 10, 15-minute walk after your meal. That has been shown to lower your postprandial or post-meal blood glucose and insulin levels. So take a walk after your meal. You can also do exercises before a meal, and that's been shown to be effective. So doing something like 10 or 20 air squats. That's a squat without weight on your back, right? Just kind of a regular squat, body weight squat. That has been shown to activate the GLUT4 protein transporter on the cells, which helps pull sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cell where it can be used for energy without insulin. So you don't need insulin when you are activating the GLUT4 protein transporter. How do you activate GLUT4 protein transporter? You move, right? You take a walk or you do strength training of some type. It doesn't have to be with weights, it could be. That's a great approach. Get a workout in before your meal. But you could just go and do some air squats, right? 10, 20 air squats. Squats are one of the best exercises for activating GLUT4 protein transporter that acts like insulin to pull the glucose out of the bloodstream, lowering your blood sugar and improving your ability to keep insulin down. And that's key because higher insulin levels, that's gonna stop fat burning. So we wanna keep insulin levels down. So we activate that GLUT4 protein transporter by taking a walk after meals, by taking a walk before a meal, by strength training before a meal ideally, like air squats before a meal. And if you're out and about and let's say you're gonna have naked carbs or you're gonna have a piece of cake at a party or ice cream with your daughter or something like that, it's a good idea to get some of that exercise in, activate those GLUT4 protein transporters, get 20 air squats, get 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, And that's going to actually help your body clear that blood sugar with a lower insulin response. So really simple, easy thing to do. Another easy hack is 1 teaspoon of C8 MCT oil with each meal. C8 is caprylic acid. It's the most effective form of MCT oil, and it will increase ketones in your bloodstream. Those ketones will cross the blood-brain barrier and improve neurological activity, keeping inflammation under control in your brain, and actually helping to activate something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, in your brain. It's actually 1 teaspoon of MCT oil with each meal is almost as effective in general as like getting a workout before a meal, believe it or not. Like, it's really powerful for helping stabilize your blood sugar and improve fat burning. So just take MCT oil, take 1 teaspoon. Now, if you've never taken MCT oil before, I'll recommend starting with a half a teaspoon. Some people, when they go too high too quickly with MCT oil, they get what we call disaster pants, right? They get loose stools. So start with a half a teaspoon, make sure you're tolerating that, and then you can bump it up to 1 teaspoon of MCT oil with each meal. I just take it on the side, right? But you could obviously add it to a smoothie. You could add it to as part of a salad dressing. You just don't know if you're getting all of it because it might end up on the dish, and you might not be actually consuming all the MCT oil. So the best way to ensure you're getting that teaspoon is just taking it straight up with your meal. So that's key. Now, we talked about the 7 strategies. So now that you know those, let's talk about the best supplements that you can use. This is a common question I get. What supplements can be helpful? Well, I already talked about the C8 MCT oil. Even though that is kind of like a food base, it's got calories in it, I still consider it a supplement. It's made from coconut oil. It's derived from coconut oil, but it's isolated towards just the C8, which is the most quickly metabolized, turns right away into ketones in our bloodstream, and has the most dramatic effect on our blood sugar, stabilizing our blood sugar and our insulin levels. So that's key. But other good supplements would be things like berberine. Berberine is an alkaloid that's found in plants like golden seal, for example, and barberry. And berberine can be really helpful for stimulating fat burning and enhancing mitochondrial function. I recommend taking about 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams daily, split up throughout the day. So like 3 doses of 3 to 500 milligrams is a great approach. Also, alpha lipoic acid can be really helpful. 300 to 600 milligrams daily, broken up into 2 or 3 servings, is beneficial. So let's say 200 milligrams 2 to 3 times a day. Cinnamon, also very helpful, 250 to 500 milligrams a day in divided doses. So let's say somewhere around 125 to 250 milligrams twice a day would be great. And then a multivitamin that's high in chromium and vanadium. These are key minerals. Chromium is actually called glucose tolerance factor, right? It plays a critical role in insulin sensitivity on the cell membrane. And so most people are not getting enough chromium in their diet. So taking an extra 250 to 1,000 micrograms daily in divided doses can be really, really helpful. So you don't need a whole lot. 250 to 1,000 micrograms a day can be really, really helpful there. And then vanadium, which oftentimes you can find in multivitamins with chromium, another trace mineral, and you want to get about 100 to 500 micrograms daily of that. So vanadium and chromium, taking a multivitamin with those in them can be really helpful. Now, there's some other things that can be helpful as well. We mentioned apple cider vinegar. Lemon or lime water can be really helpful. You can use that in exchange for the apple cider vinegar. Also, things like curcumin or turmeric has been shown to be really helpful for blood sugar stability. Ginger can be really helpful. So a lot of different tools out there that you can use. But I wanted to focus on the simplest, easiest strategies first that will really help you move the needle when it comes to stabilizing your blood sugar and burning fat for fuel. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. Start putting these into action. Let us know in the comments below, your experience with any of the strategies I talked about today, and we'll see you in a future video training. Be blessed.